many in motion theme that is being highlighted during our 25th anniversary reflects the incredible privilege that I have in being able to face challenges head on, to be able to learn from those experiences, to feel so grateful to others, and then to try to pay it forward in terms of making the world a better place. Without that kind of support and partnerships and the people who are in this room today who have been part of that journey and or who are thinking about ways to forge partnerships for the future, these dreams would just be that, dreams. And so I'm going to actually get an opportunity to sort of highlight, and Wendy, thank you for hosting and your gracious hospitality here today, and also for mentioning the special Royal Canadian Mint Medal that's being commissioned for our 25th anniversary. I'm going to ask one of my colleagues, Micah Wong, and I'm going to ask her if she can take this medal and actually circulate it around the room as I'm presenting. And I'd like you all to have a chance to be able to just see this medal, to be able to touch it, to feel the energy that over 5,000 people have already translated into this as the relay is going across the country. Difference makers all. It was a big dark hole, bleak, despair, a canvas waiting to be painted, but it was devastating. And little baby goals were so important, like being able to sit up for the 16th birthday still in the hospital bed and actually be able to blow out the candles on my own and see the faces of the friends I've been sharing that room with for many months. A baby step forward, but that goal gave me that sense of momentum and capacity to move forward, to be able to think about going home, to explore the new possibilities, to meet role models who had come into my life like Stan Strong, one of the first surviving people with spinal cord injury. And when I was complaining about being in the hospital for 4 months, he would chuckle and say, "Rick, I was injured in the 30s and I wasn't supposed to survive because people with spinal cord injury didn't then. And I was in the hospital for 4 years. My first wife left me, and when I came back out, there were no ramps or rehab centers or any kind of opportunity." His indomitable spirit was infectious, and he made me realize that it's about attitude. Not what you can't do, but what you can. Holding on to hope and seeing possibilities. He also encouraged me to be able to go out because he was our team manager. He was an example of one of the faceless heroes who continued to volunteer in the background asking for no recognition. And he supported our wheelchair basketball team and asked me to go out and look for new recruits, people like me who had maybe had an injury and used to play ball. And a friend of mine one evening at dinner told me about this young man from Simon Fraser University that just lost his leg to cancer. Well, Terry Fox was his name. I called him up that night and he came out and he was involved in our first practice, and he was a skinny kid still on chemotherapy at the time, and he would barely be able to touch the bottom of the rim when he shot. He was weak, and I first thought he was quite pathetic, and then I realized after watching him he was actually incredibly determined. He worked so hard. He was really quite skilled, but he just needed to get strength, and it wasn't long before he became one of the best players on the team. We became great friends, trained, roomed together, we shared experiences. He was motivated by those on that team who were more disabled than he was, but yet showed only ability, focused on what they could do. He was motivated by Stan Strong, who was working in the backgrounds, helping him to rebuild his life. And of course, we all know what he did, his incredible marathon of hope, which has now become a symbol of Canadian values, a hero, an icon, a global citizen who shows all of us what's possible if we see an experience, if we apply our talent and our passion and we find solutions to make a difference. That's the kind of infectious spirit and attitude that rubbed off on me as I was going through my life and thinking about dreams and possibilities. I know that Terry was an incredible friend, and I take him with me every single day, and that privilege that I had over those years to be associated with him. But that experience also made me realize that you can believe that anything's possible, but not everything, and focus is the key. Thanks to the support of incredible benefactors, the government of British Columbia and Canada, role models, coaches, family, anyone who was even dreaming about possibilities would support me in my aspirations to be a world-class athlete, to go as far as I could, to try to be at the Paralympic Games, to be at the Olympic Games. And winning a gold medal was an incredible experience for me. to represent my country at the Olympic Games when I thought everything had been shut out. And when you move from being in the most darkest periods of time in life right after your injury, thinking everything was gone, to a place where you feel that the world is absolutely unfolding in front of you, that you're living a meaningful and productive life in spite of your challenges, it makes you realize how grateful you are to be living in this country. A country of Canada built on the backs of citizens who've come here from all walks of life, from all parts of the world, to forge a cooperative, incredible country of social dynamic where people can unfold incredible potential in business, and they can forge capacity in community, and they can all think about what we do to build strong families, strong communities, and to be able to help Canada be vibrant, successful, not only locally, but in a global community. It was that country that gave me this privilege, the people that I've referenced and many, many more, that helped me be in this very moment celebrating and asking, what can I do to make a difference? My experiences, of course, were traveling the world representing Canada, meeting thousands of people with disabilities who told the same story, that they faced attitudinal barriers because they were different. They were treated as second-class citizens, people who would not stop if they were taxi drivers to pick someone up because they were in a wheelchair. Physical barriers, not being able to get onto a plane or into a hotel or into a facility. These kinds of things were prevalent all over the world, and what was it that I could do to apply my talent as an athlete, as an ultramarathoner, and maybe make a difference in the world? I decided to wheel around the world, to change attitudes, to show what was possible at a time when people were struggling to think about what it was like to wheel across the street in a wheelchair. And to be able to show that if we could demonstrate this in human potential, that if we all could look into our communities and remove barriers, that we could change the world one stroke at a time. Well, talking about that kind of a dream wasn't easy. There were all kinds of physical barriers, injuries, being filled with ice packs, and being in the motorhome and wondering if I could continue, and wheeling 113 kilometers a day, but looking for moments and symbols of success, like being in front of the Coliseum. And who would have imagined thousands of years earlier, when they were building this infrastructure, that a person with a disability would even survive, let alone be able to lead and be on a global journey to make a difference? To meet young people who were free from prejudice, who were thinking openly and seeing only another human being with ability and potential just like them. The Vancouver Coastal Health Authority hosting this facility, and Rob McMaster, I want you to stand up and be recognized, the incredible leadership there at the Health Authority with the Spine Clinic. The Rick Hansen Institute and the outreach leadership team that is working on connecting the excellence here to sites all across the country and all around the world. 70 sites all working together to magnify the critical mass of individuals dealing with spinal cord injury, sharing knowledge and best practice, a global health best practice consortium that then becomes a multi-center clinical trial. Taking new discoveries out of the laboratory and then test bedding them, and then seeing those discoveries actually leading forward to more recovery. Ultimately, over the next 25 years, accelerating progress to find a cure. And in the meantime, to be able to think about new opportunities, to be able to think about an accessible and inclusive world for people with disabilities who may not have a cure, but who need to be accepted in an inclusive and dynamic way. To be able to standardize our language and take advantage of the world having changed so much in 25 years with the internet, information technology, to be able to unify millions of people. According to the UN, there are 1 billion people with disabilities today in the world, and that number is growing as aging boomers continue to have many complicating challenges. Fortunately, we were able to create, as a result of some amazing leadership from one of the key friends of mine, and he's right here in the corner, I want to recognize him, Daryl Rock, who helped lead and create a global accessibility mapping program that's being populated all throughout Canada and the world, standardizing our view of how people with disabilities view accessibility. To come in and speak to hotels, to restaurants, to retail facilities, homes, community centers, schools, and to measure, how is this? Is this a 1, 4, or 5-star accessible environment? And have that be a navigation tool for any person with a disability, family, and friends to take advantage of the great progress that's taken place and to help level the playing field as a force for change in the future. And speaking of future, mobilizing the next generation, working with young children to help them think about setting goals. The youth of our country are so capable, dialed in, and able to be able to make a difference in their own right towards a healthy and inclusive society. To think about celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Man in Motion Tour, not just as a retrospective look back on the tour, but a true honoring of how far the world has come on those two big dreams of an accessible and inclusive world and a cure for spinal cord injury. To recognize the champions of change, the difference makers, to be able to mobilize and actually generate $266 million over the 7 years from the time of that 25th anniversary over the next 5 years beyond. To power our changes and create a global network of difference makers, led right here in British Columbia by our foundation and the people engaged. To be able to feel so privileged that we'd move from one man in motion to many, to be surrounded by an amazing board of directors. And I'd like to honor Lyle Knott and also Jonathan Callner, who are Lyle's a co-chair and Jonathan with KPMG is the head of our finance committee. And Jonathan and Lyle, thank you so much for your leadership and your recognition. To have an incredible team with our foundation. My team members who are working with me every single day. They are here in the room, many of them back home, many of them all across the country and even around the world working for change. I'd like those who are part of my foundation to be standing up and to be recognized, please, because you are a part of this dream. Thank you so much to my foundation. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Incredible. And feeling so surrounded by incredible support, what a fantastic way to be able to launch the 25th anniversary at the Olympic and Paralympic Games right here in my home city in Vancouver, when we host the world, 3.5 billion people, looking to the values of this country and how far we've come. To bring the flame into the games as a symbol of this incredible view of two events inside one games, Olympic and Paralympic Games. To be able to know that we were including everyone in our society and working consciously and how far we'd come, because 25 years earlier there was a dream that was thought to be impossible. To be launching then the day the games close with the Premier and the Prime Minister at the Blusson Centre, this vision for engaging the world. To be able to have the team working forward as we go forward with major difference makers from Jordan as Prince Rod, in Israel signing agreements with major learning universities and clinical sites, meeting thought leaders like Shimon Peres, who talks about the importance of the brain and the spinal cord injury people and the mysteries of the central nerve and how critical that will be to humankind over the next 100 years. Premier of Australia connecting this country to ours, to theirs, and others in the future. Having a chance to be able to unveil that medal and profile it with a young difference maker to set the signal to the next generation that we want you to join us, and to bring 500 youth from 50 countries to the Great Wall of China. 25 years to the day, instead of me having to wheel up the wall, I actually had a privilege of honoring all these amazing young people who did a relay with that medal up the wall to the highest point as a symbol that we have come so far and we have so far to go. To be able to think about those opportunities of collaboration with the China Disabled Persons Federation, 80 million people with disabilities in that country, an economic miracle emerging and a long journey socially as with any other country in the world, but bringing them together, working with us and with them. Researchers collaborating at the China Rehab Research Center, where the son of former chairman Deng Xiaoping, Deng Pufeng, had created this as a result of his relationship with Canada, helping him to be saved and then to go back forward with inspiration. Peking University Hospital doubles the spinal cord data set in Canada with just one hospital in sharing that knowledge and information. That agreement is so special. Passing the medal on to Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations, because of the UN rights of persons with disabilities, the charter that's being forged across the entire world as a result of that leadership, opening new doors for possibility. To be able to think about other agreements in the United States where there's an incredible resurgence of energy in spinal cord research, so that we can partner with them and learn and collaborate and to work together. To be able to think about what's happening when we come back here in this cross-Canada third phase of our 25th anniversary. We had incredible partners whether it be Nike or McDonald's who were there 25 years ago, Scotiabank, our media partners, so many others, or new ones who are coming forward, and donations that are stepping up as we get ready for the, the western part, like London Drugs. My good friend Brant and Belinda, I'd like to say thank you so much for your leadership and your support. I appreciate all that you have done to help us and to build our partnership. Thank you. But to be able to then have the ability to pass that medal on fully energized to the first young person, Jacob Manning, 13 years old, juvenile diabetes, not feeling sorry for himself, living life in a full and large way, making a difference. To be able to see the wellspring of support, to be able to see the best of Canada in communities, over 650 communities over 9 months as that relay has made its way across and has been so warmly embraced by so many amazing people, to see the youth of the country so proud to be part of it, to pass on another medal to David Johnson, our Governor General, and to say what an incredible example of service, and thank you for being our national patron. To bring the medal to the Prime Minister and to say we still need to continue to make progress, to say thank you for the partnership of the Government of Canada over all these years. It's recognized and appreciated. It's helped us to get to a significant place, and now to be able to think about that future, let's work together. To work also with young people in helping to forge connections, to be able to see the celebration and the pride of people sharing their stories so that each one of them know that they're not working in isolation, that we are, in spite of the divergence and the different interests that we have in the world that we live, we all share that same value of a healthy and inclusive world. And we can be inspired by each other. We can move forward. We can continue to build that momentum, and to see the family members, the friends, the corporate partners, and the colleagues all working together. Big celebrations like at Dundas Square in Toronto, or small community events, or the RCMP or the military all working together and feeling a sense of inclusion and pride in that journey because of their service and their commitment. The media, who have been such a big part of taking this message forward in small communities, regionally, nationally, and globally, and presenting the opportunities for people to learn, to be inspired, to connect, and to make a difference. And social media, of course, being such a powerful force to be able to forge that network for the future and to build collaboration. To be able to engage with thousands and thousands of people at other ancillary events like We Day in Vancouver. And I know, Lauren, you're here, and Gary, you're here, and so much incredible work being done there. And of course, to be able to think about major sporting events, whether it's the NHL or whether it's the Grey Cup, or having a chance to be able to connect the values of sport, that it isn't just about the athletes. It's not just about the entertainment, it's about what sport represents, how we all can work together to achieve amazing dreams and then pay it forward along the way. This cross-Canada relay is entering BC on March the 19th, 25 years to the day. There will be 2 months moving through a number of amazing communities in this province, where this province will be galvanized like never before. That sense of pride and enthusiasm and encouragement. To be able to pull together also a corporate gala here in May, and to have so many fantastic people leading that. Our co-chairs, Christine Day from Lululemon, Sue Page from Pharmacy, Elia Luongo from KPMG, all engaging the private sector to be part of that ongoing journey. To hold a global conference in May on spinal cord research, and to have ICORD, UBC, the hospital, all leading and inviting the world with the Rick Hansen Institute to forge those partnerships for the future. That last day, May the 22nd, 25 years to the day that we concluded, being at the Pacific Coliseum for Celebration 25, with incredible entertainment, inspiration, reflection and gratitude of partners, and thinking about the future, knowing that our best work is in front of us. This world being much smaller today than it was 25 years ago. Knowing the team is much larger, and all of us working together with youth and hand in hand in partnerships, all believing that we can make a difference with practical solutions. To know that the resources, the support, the energy, the leaders, that if we have that belief and philosophy that if each of us can do one small thing together, we can change anything. I feel like I'm one of the luckiest guys on the planet. All those years ago, when I had my injury, I would have sold my soul for the use of my legs. Today, I would never trade my life for the use of my legs. I know I don't need to be cured in order to be whole as a human being. And it's because of the many in motion, the people in this room who have surrounded me and supported and encouraged, inspired, helped challenge me to believe that I can live a full and productive life, that I can apply my talent and learn and grow and make a difference, to leave this world a little better than when I've come. I can receive these acknowledgments and accolades gratefully, but in reflection and on behalf of this amazing global team and community, I am here to say to each and every one of you, thank you for all that you have done. The gratitude I feel for this incredible province, this home that has nurtured me, its values, its team. I say congratulations on the work that you have done to be able to make a difference. I know that we have had an impact. I say to you that I will never, ever give up on my dreams. We are all difference makers. One day, the wheelchair will be something you'll see in a museum. Thanks a lot, you guys. Never give up on your dreams. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much for those inspiring words and the presentation you just made. But today, the Vancouver Board of Trade and the Rick Hansen Foundation would like to recognize two individuals who are Rick Hansen difference makers. These individuals have demonstrated courage, leadership, determination, and teamwork, and are improving the lives of those around them. These individuals join the 7,000 Canadians who are being recognized in the 25th anniversary relay. They will be medal bearers in the 25th anniversary Rick Hansen relay when it comes to BC in May of this year. First, I'd like to welcome a bright, selfless young professional who has been involved with the Board of Trade for the last year and a half. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sean Heppel from Waste Management of Canada to the stage. Sean began participating in the board's Leaders of Tomorrow's mentorship program while in his final year at BCIT. That same year, Sean also participated in BCIT's Students in Free Enterprise program and acted as president of BCIT's Association for Operations Management. Sean has now transitioned from the Leaders of Tomorrow program to the Company of Young Professionals program, where he has continued his outstanding involvement and now supports the participation of a team of students on the board's Sustainability Committee and Regional Transportation Task Force. Sean has demonstrated his capacity for leadership through his involvement at events, roles as a program ambassador, and for his fundraising efforts for the annual Scotiabank Bowl for Big Brothers Classic. He is an exceptional example to other young professionals as someone who leads by example and consistently goes out of his way to help others. An active skier and golfer, he lives many of the qualities Rick Hansen embodies and is well deserving of this honor. Congratulations, Sean.
Get a photo? Awesome.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome a dynamic and altruistic business leader whose boundless energy and enthusiasm fuels her entrepreneurial and philanthropic pursuits. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Board of Trade Chair and today's host, Wendy Lissegar-Cotier, Chief Executive Officer of the Century Plaza Hotel and Absolute Spa Group.
Thanks, Wendy. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Thank you. I know, surprise. Thank you.
By now, many of you will be familiar with Wendy and her many business ventures, including her family-owned and operated Century Plaza Hotel and the award-winning Absolute Spa Group. For Wendy and her family, business and philanthropy have always gone hand in hand. Drawing on her boundless creativity and determination, Wendy has demonstrated her commitment to improving the quality of lives for those in her community and throughout the province, especially the special children of British Columbia. Ironically, 25 years ago, the same year of the Man in Motion World Tour, Wendy founded the Women's Media Golf Classic, an annual charity event which has raised over $2.6 million for special needs children, including the creation of the Down Syndrome Resource Centre, the Vancouver Oral Centre for the Hearing Impaired Children, and most recently, the Pacific Autism Family Centre. The Pacific Autism Family Society is a grassroots movement started by Wendy and her husband Sergio. This provincial charity will respond to the severe challenges that those affected by autism spectrum disorder face, a condition experienced by some 40,000 individuals. And for the last 9 years, Wendy and her Absolute Spa group have also raised funds for the province's Empty Stocking Fund. This year they surpassed their previous year's goals, raising over $18,000 to benefit various charity organizations throughout British Columbia. As the Vancouver Board of Trade's youngest and fifth female chair in its 125-year history, Wendy has given much of her personal time and professional capacity to the organization. In fact, the board recently surprised Wendy at their first annual volunteer awards function with the Wenderful Award. As they stated, it wasn't an adjective which could, at that event, they stated there wasn't an adjective which could describe Wendy, so they created the word Wenderful. Wendy, in recognition for the central role you have played in the community, acting as a difference maker and a distinguished leader, it is my honor to recognize you with this 25th anniversary medal.
Very proud of you. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow.